Gonna proc it now. Gonna proc it now. By Jackson Aurelia. Jackson Aurelia. Gonna proc it now. Gonna proc it now. Proc it. Jackson Aurelia. T-Force.
Welcome to the rework of the T-Force. Now we going hard cause we bumping at the beat source. It's a 3-course dinner of dudes bringing the news and stats, interviews and casts from the pro scene. So fresh and so clean, like you're leaning with Nami in the bot lane. Keep it hot like brand, practicing his dot game. Give it to you easy like you're Resi in a bot game. Imagine Draven at prime time. Now ulti like LeBlanc can copy that 4 times, but manlier. Knock it up like now fight planning a family-er. You gotta be tuned in like Sona on the ad wall. Get on the chat call. Can a podcast really be all that? Of course. How do 4 guys make a Triforce?
Hey guys, welcome to Trinity Force Podcast. My name is Adam Ponophobia Cogswell, and if you saw how quickly I had to go over as I was trying to get all of my stuff up, you guys will see the lead client there momentarily. Sorry about that. You will know that we are frantically trying to get things together for this podcast as we are already 7 minutes late, and we have to stay on time because the LCS Rundown is going live right after we are. So
who cares about those guys?
Yeah, we're not allowed to like go way over and
Not like the LCS is going on right now.
Yeah, nothing. LCS didn't return, so we're gonna jump right into donations and advertisements and all that stuff. And we're gonna try to keep this as short as I can possibly can. So here we go. First and foremost, guys, Patreon, TrinityForceNetwork.com/Patreon, Patreon.com/TForceNetwork. Whatever way you want to go. We pushed over $900 as of the last podcast a month, and I'm sure that's going to wax and wane a little bit. Nice. We'll probably drop down, $700-800 because of different donations, but pushing up that far and that fast within the, week and a half, 2 weeks that we have had this Patreon out is amazing.
Yeah, all we have to say is we love you.
Impressive.
Yes. So keep it going, guys. We're getting ready for some really awesome things. There's something I can't talk about because it's an announcement, but you guys are going to go, oh my God, what the I can't believe I just saw that. I think everybody on here on the podcast
I'm going to hold you to that.
Well, you can't say oh my God because you already know what it is.
I want to anyway.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Speaking of patron, if I'm sending out email to the patrons as soon as your credit cards get charged because it tells me. So anybody whose credit card successfully gets charged will get a message by the end of this week letting you know when you'll get your first Champion Select podcast, which is going to be Morgana. Hopefully that is out by June 13th, and the other one will be out by June 27th because we're doing that fortnightly instead of bi-weekly. Moving right into donations, we don't have time to answer your questions. Remember how I said we will be bribed? Well, we are bribed. We're just going to be bribed next week because I will not be here next Wednesday, so these guys will be doing a listener question episode more than likely, assuming no patch notes hit. So those questions that I'm being bribed with right now will get answered then. So here we go. $10 from Seth, no note. $10 from Rick with a note. Thanks for reading my ADC questions.
No problem.
No problem.
Thanks for sending them in and for the $10.
That's right. $2 from Thomas. He has a question. Thomas, you will have your shout out re-shouted out in a week, and you'll have that again. $20 from Michael. He says, "Here, kid, buy yourself something nice."
Oh,
thank you.
Oh, nice getting.
$5 from Lennon. Another question, but he also says, "Listen to the podcast weekly. Thanks for what you do." Thank you, Lennon. $5 from Brendan. He also says he has another question. You'll get to yours, Brendan. And $10 from Wayland. Hi, guys. I love the podcast. Been a listener for a few months. Thank you for the advice about being disgustingly positive. And then he has a question about being disgustingly positive after that.
Awesome. Can't wait to answer these. But thank you, everybody, for the donations. That's awesome.
Right. And if you want your question answered in the donation episode, like I said, we can be bribed. TrinityForceNetwork.com. There is a PayPal option. Otherwise, we have some other questions that have come in. We're going to try to get to all of those, paid or not paid. Trust me, you'll get an answer to your question at some point.
Now, we got $10 from Wayland. Where's the $10 from Utani?
I don't get it.
You're not an Aliens World fan?
No, not really.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, buddy.
We'll move on.
I'm sure some people are. And
Well,
they chuckled.
I'm a big fan of that movie.
You know what actually really makes me mad is what we're going to talk about is patch 5.10. And there's a lot of things that makes Ponophobia mad. But another thing that Ponophobia gets mad about is the fact that the reason I was going to talk about Ekko today. I was going to talk about how awesome Ekko is and how overpowered it is and like how disgusting he is. And then I go on Reddit this morning and there's the exact post and exact point I was going to make. And I'm like, fuck. Because I'm going to make that point. And someone's gonna be like, "Well, you read Reddit, so now you know what they were saying."
I know the same thing. I made an awesome pun on Twitter the other day. I felt so proud about myself, and it was about Ekko. And then Zerglin here comes and like, "Yeah, this is like the 8th time I heard this." I'm like, "Son of a! I thought I was being original." Oh well. I guess I'm behind the times.
thought we lost DeClawd for a second there. He
Yeah,
turned into a swirly loading symbol.
Now I wonder if...
Did you hear what I said?
Yes.
You're okay now, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Now I wonder if it's my connection. We're going to have another shit show podcast.
As long as the audio's clear.
All right, God damn it.
They sound
People
good.
need to learn when I'm busy not to message me on the league client. So let's talk about Ekko, because that guy is... Like, you would have to just be retarded not to be able to...
So how much do you love him, Adam?
He's
So much.
He's a lot of fun. Okay, so Ekko, for those of you who don't know, he is this like weird... I don't want to say he's like a weird mix of Diana, but he's got everything in his kit you could ever want out of an assassin. He's got a dash, he's got a stun, he's got a shield, he's got health return, he's got like a weird REQ, he's got like everything you could ever want out of assassin, including really high rates of damage. I had a Luden's Ekko, and in one proc of Luden's Ekko with a Q that went out and returned, I chunked a Lux for 3/4 of her life. Like, it was disgusting. So, if you guys haven't
I'd
played
love to
against...
hear that.
The problem is, he's got... So, Ekko is a great assassin. He's played mid, but he can't be stopped early like a Castanen or anybody can. You know, you can't. There's not really that counterplay pre-6 because he's such a lane bully throughout the entire game. From level 1, this dude is a lane bully. And
Well, his passive is a huge part of that because just the base damage, regardless of the AP scaling on it, is huge. Huge. As long as
Should
you're
we go
leveling.
over all the abilities before we go too in depth?
Yeah.
yeah, I
Your
was trying-
co-host.
Do you want to finish your point, Adam? Sorry for interrupting.
No, I mean that's the point of
Yeah.
it. Like, he's got
That's
so
why he's a
much
bully.
utility baked into his kit between move speed increase. I'll go it again. He's got a move speed increase. He's got extra damage on auto attacks. He's got
And slow.
He's got a
juke.
slow.
Or slow
He's got a
too.
juke. He's got a stun. He has health return. He has he has percentage of life damage. He has an execute. I'm gonna keep going on. We're at almost 10 things right there, and I know I'm missing at least 2 or 3. Like, this dude's got everything baked in his kit you could ever want. So let's roll it down. Which I need to pull him up in the wiki.
Well, I know when people were first talking about him, Daze was arguing against him being an assassin because of how much utility he had, and I agree with her. You normally don't see an assassin with this number of ways to slow an enemy and an AoE stun and the mobility all the assassins have. But I mean, that much utility with mobility just seemed like overkill. So like, there's no way he could have burst damage on top of all this other stuff, but he does.
Yeah.
That's
So
great.
right now he's got, I'll just call it Z Drive is his passive. At 3 stacks, so on his Ekko's damaging abilities and basic attacks build up resonant strikes on his enemy, lasting up to 4 seconds. So on 3 attacks, he eventually gets a giant burst of damage and he slows the target. And that scales
slow
with
is
level.
significant.
Because it allows you to get your Q back to you too, to reposition for it.
Feels like it lasts forever.
But yeah, and it scales from 40% to 80% from 2 seconds to 3 seconds. That's his passive. Normally you see that on an ability.
Yeah.
That's supposed to be for
I know.
80% for 3 seconds.
And the damage will apply spell effects.
Yeah, so he can get a proc of he can get anything. He can get a Luden's Ekko proc in the middle of 3 auto attacks with the speed if he needs it. So yeah, Time Winder is the best way to explain this. Is it's like Ari's Q because it goes out and it comes back to you, and on the way
It's a
back,
slower version of it.
it's a
Or Sivir's Boomerang,
right. But the reason I say Ari's Q is because when it comes back, it does damage, but it does significantly more damage on the way back than it does going out. So you want to try to line people up in between that. Now, when you shoot it out, it goes out fast and it slows way down, and then it comes zooming right back to you.
And it slows and expands once it hits its primary target, correct? And then
Right.
after a
It
certain
does
time
more
after
AoE.
that, that's when it returns.
Right, and it comes fast. It comes back fast. So it's got a little delay and then zips right back at you. So you got to be wary of where you're positioned and where you want its path to go.
Right. And here's the big one, parallel convergence, which is his W. This thing is just stupid. You would think for it taking 3 seconds to cast or arm itself, essentially, that it would be a bad ability. But it's so good because there's so many uses for it once you start comboing it with Chrono Break, which is his ultimate, that you could do some silly things. So the passive on it is his basic attacks deal 5% of the target's missing health plus 1.81% per 100 ability power. Bonus magic damage. versus targets below 30% of their maximum life. So essentially, he gets an execute on his with passive on his W. Active, Ekko calls up an alternate version of himself that bats the device to the target location. After a total delay of 3 seconds, the device expands into a broad spear that slows enemies by 40%. Essentially, he throws out he puts out this giant AoE. It sticks to the ground after 3 seconds and arms itself. If Ekko enters that at any point in time, everybody in there is stunned, and he gains a giant shield. It's 150 plus 80% AP base.
Scaling up to 330 at rank 5.
Plus 80% AP.
Yep.
And then phase dive is...
I don't even think... Did you cover that it stuns for 2.25 seconds as well?
I just said it stunned. I didn't say it stunned for
2.25 seconds.
2.2. That's significant. For an AoE stun, that's not an ultimate. Yeah. Watch out for that. And, I mean, it's got to be powerful since it has a 3-second arm time, but the amount of power it gives is just staggering.
Well, and it gives a significant amount of zone control, too, if you can position
Oh,
intelligently. You want to talk about, like, areas where you can set things up or areas of influence anywhere. This is a pretty significant area, and the distance you can throw it for how big it is pretty...
1600 range.
Yeah, it's pretty noticeable. I love it.
And enemies don't see the circle the entire time it's arming. I'm not sure because they covered this as spotlight, but I think it's like after his Ekko self hits the canister with his bat, that's when they see the circle. And then did somebody know what the time was after that? Like 1 second, they can see the circle for that. 1.5 seconds, something like that. I mean, the point is that
between the time it takes to land and the time it takes to cast. Is that what you're talking about?
Well, I mean, the time the enemy can actually see the circle.
Oh,
because they don't have 3 seconds to react to it. They have less than that.
Well, it says enemies do not gain vision of the target area until the last 0.5 seconds.
Oh, okay, yeah, there you go, 0.5 seconds. Great. So if you're ganking with that, that's pretty surefire. You should be able to land that.
Phase dive. Essentially, Ekko just dashes to a location. He has a short range dash. Think like Shen, where you just kind of dash forward, and then he gets an except for he gets an AoE around him, and now he can dash to an enemy unit.
He pretty much gets like he dashes, and then he's like a Rengar in a bush.
Yeah,
his next attack he'll jump on.
That's a great analogy.
That's exactly what it does.
He's a kitten in a bush. Chrono Break. So I'm sure you've seen it. He has a time-delayed hologram of himself that follows him around. So essentially, wherever you moved, it'll show where you were 4 seconds ago. So you'll just have this little guy following you that's 4 seconds lagged. And when he activates his ultimate, he snaps back to the place he was 4 seconds previously. He does damage in the area that that his hologram was at, and he gains a giant heal.
Well, of whatever damage was done to him within the last 4 seconds.
Right.
If he wasn't damaged, if you were hurt and you're running around and then 4 seconds expire and then you use it, you're not going to heal anything.
Well, no, you'll heal a flat amount plus percentage. It's a flat 100, 150, 200 plus 20, 25, 30% plus 3.33%.
Of the damage taken over the last 4 seconds.
Right. No, but you gain a flat.
No, you
100.
you get some regardless of if you take damage or not. Like if you watch the video of the abilities, the video shows him at being half health. He activates his chrono break, and then after 4 seconds or whatever, he goes back and
the flat amount. The percentage added on top of that is of the damage taken in the last 4 seconds. Right.
Yes.
So you get the base value anywhere from 100 to 200 health, depending on the rank.
And more than likely, you're already taking damage.
And if you're taking damage, whatever damage you took, you're getting 30% plus 3.33% per 100 AP back of that as well. So it is massive heal if you're in a big fight.
So if you take 1,000 damage, you're getting 300 life back.
So Ekko, in my mind, rivals Singed for
life.
Number of champions that you shouldn't chase. If you're chasing Ekko and you're following his shadow at any point in time, you can just turn around and kill you. It's like, hey, I got my health back and on top of you, and you took a bunch of damage, and now you're gonna die. Oh yeah!
All I had to do was wait for cooldowns. I was telling Chira today, I only could do it in text. I couldn't give any justice, and I'm waiting for LSI to actually show me the replay. But I had a really sweet outplay with Ekko, and it made me go, I really want to play this guy a lot more because there's a lot of cool things you can do if you know where your little hologram dude is at. And
now,
Well, I would say just one of the some of the cool things you do is like you can drop W down on yourself, and while it's arming, you can run away, force people to chase where your hologram was at and into the W, and then immediately snap back, do the instant damage, gain a shield, stun everybody, and burst them down with a Sheen proc.
Now, I was going to ask about that. When did you drop it on yourself and then run away, and was just timing when they were going to reach you?
Yes.
Or okay.
Yeah, when one of those happened, it was mid lane. I had a Poppy chase me out of a fight, and the 4 others came down from mid lane, so I dropped it right where my character was going to. My character was. Now I didn't time it out. I wasn't like I'm gonna be here in 3 seconds, that type of thing. It was more of I dropped it on myself, ran away, snapped right back, stunned all of them, dashed out, and let my team clean up to the 2.25 second stun.
You can time it better when you do that because you can ult. You ult to where you were within the last 4 seconds. The W takes 3 seconds to arm, and you can watch the little U bat it into the area. So you can time it. You can go, okay, bat, there it is, bam, I know this was 3 seconds ago. I'm going to be a little bit behind the center of wherever I just placed that. You can wait the extra second or just go right back into it. Then it's all about timing depending where the enemy is. But yeah, those are some pretty sick plays. I've seen them. I've tried them myself too in a custom, just messing around. I tried to get that timing because I was impressed when I saw it on the spotlight, and he's sick.
The problem is he doesn't matter how much you outplay him because he always has some type of utility or damage baked into his kit. So if he could probably, I would say he'd have to miss everything, like every auto attack. He'd have to miss every auto attack to like not do damage to you in a fight.
Or you take advantage of the fact that he jumped back onto you with phase dive if he did for whatever reason. But he can also use that to his advantage to do some crazy, almost LeBlanc-like jukes. He can phase dive over terrain, and if he has vision of something on the other side of that terrain, he can jump back over. Like a minion or a monster or something like that. So those are more situational, but you're right. He's got so much that he can do, so much wigginess. It's crazy.
So I'm looking at what his abilities gain per level, and I'm wondering at what point in the game is he weak. It looks like it's early on that he should be weak, judging at these cooldowns, that all of his abilities, they have relatively high cooldowns that all scale down per level. And like phase dive starts at 15, scales down to 7. Parallel convergence starts at 22, scales into 14. Time Wonder is the shortest one, is Q, from 11 to 7. But it seems like he'd have a hard time bursting somebody down with those long cooldowns early on, unless he hits his ultimate.
And like I said, it's really his first 6 levels. Level 9, he hits such a giant power spike with Z drive with his passive that it doesn't matter at that point. Like that's critical mass for him. Is level 9, and then everything beyond that's just icing on the cake. But
his passive is what keeps him going all game.
It's so good.
Mm-hmm.
It's his passive. That's the main.
Well, it's more than that. You could remove the shield and healing on his ultimate, and like he would still be fucking sick because of how much.
He just has a lot of like really weird outplay mechanics, along with the fact that he has so much utility baked in. It's just like it's been a while since we've seen a champion that's kind of, stuck in the one assassin sort of role, but at the same time, they're extremely versatile in the fact that in that one role, they can still do a bunch of really, really interesting things.
Yep.
Something else just to point out with him, kind of like one of those cutesy things you can do. You can back, and if you press R within 4 seconds, you'll make it right back in the lane. Now that could be helpful later on if you're like a Baron or something, you need to get back for it. You won't have your ultimate for like an outplay or nothing, but it's like a free
home guards.
It's basically a free teleport.
You can go back, buy home guards, and make it back and have a free teleport. if you needed to be there for a Baron.
Wait, how long does a back take?
A back takes
recall
2.5 seconds.
Okay. All right.
You just have to go back, know what your item's going to be, know exactly where it's at, have it available, go click, 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 and go.
Or just, I don't think you can buy an item and do it.
Yeah, you can.
You can.
I've done it.
If you have the shot pulled up already, all you have to do is right click on the item that you want and immediately R.
Everyone's Googling recall time right now. I can see it in their faces.
I'm looking at it right now because it says 4.5 seconds on the minion. What is it? Recall causes your champion a hard channel for 8 seconds. If the channel is not interrupted, the champion will be teleported to the team's spawn pool.
Doesn't matter. You have
It doesn't matter if it takes 8 seconds. The image is still sitting on the spot that you recalled from for 4 seconds after you disappear.
Right.
So you have 4 seconds regardless of the amount of time it takes you to back.
Because as soon as you disappear, he's still waiting there for an extra 4 seconds. So you got
I mean, you can easily buy.
Does he start running back, or does he just stand there and disappear?
What? No, he just.
Will he start running towards your base?
No, he just disappears. You only have the 4 seconds.
The ghost?
Yeah.
Because the ghost is imitating you. He's kind of doing his own mimic back, right? So he's just going to stay in there for 4 seconds to disappear. Okay. Yeah, cool. That's pretty sick. 4 seconds is plenty of time.
You can go back, buy 2 items, click, and then press R. You're back there. Now, that is not something you're going to want to always do because it's... that
is neat. You're
gonna want that ultimate for a team fight or something because there's a lot of outplayability with it, but it's some way to just get back in there if you're far enough ahead. Now,
that is neat.
If we're talking about itemization... Yes, he has all these great ability power scaling items, but the best way that I've seen him played is Ludens into Sheen. Or not Sheen, Lichbane. I mean Sheen, yes. But right into Lichbane. Essentially, you just make him super assassin. Super burst. He throws out his abilities, destroys somebody, waits, and does it again. And his abilities are on short enough cooldown by the time that he's level 9. I mean... Time Winder by that time has a 7-second cooldown, 8 or 7 second cooldown.
Probably a Zanya's after that, like a Fizz build.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you're an assassin.
And somewhere in there, you're buying tier 2 boots at some point.
That'll buy you time for your stuff to come up again.
Was that a pun?
No, it wasn't.
I don't think DeClawd caught it. He's like, what?
I don't recognize time puns with Ekko anymore. They've just.
There's just so many of them.
There's so many of them.
Time is an easy one, really.
It's too easy. When you say he should be fat because he always goes back 4 seconds, I mean, that's a good one.
Okay. I'll give you props to that one. It's pretty good.
Right. But that's the one that I thought of, and then apparently it was pointed out that other people thought of it before me, so I had an Adam moment.
Well, all I'm saying is this dude is going to eat some nerfs, and he has to eat nerfs before he's seen in the LCS because he's either going to be permabanned or perma-first picked.
Right. You can beat him because he's got a lot of utility, and he's got some crazy... You got to be good with him. You got to know what he does and know how to use his abilities, so...
I didn't even know what I was doing, and I think I walked on the first game like 7-4 and something, but I still walked out with a load of kills. Where I was
imagine pros with mechanics using him.
At one point, every time that you ended up ganking a lane, you almost ended up with a double kill till we won. Yeah. Or the enemy surrendered, I guess.
Right.
And I really didn't know what I was doing. I was just kind of pressing buttons and getting a feel for it. Like, now I know what I'm doing. I could probably play Ekko pretty well.
I didn't notice an indicator for when his third hit was ready on the pad. Does his sword glow or something? What happens?
I think his sword glows. I want to say you definitely hear a sound.
I was looking for it. Okay.
Just watch your HP get chunked down, then you'll know.
You'll know when it hits you.
Just count.
Yeah.
Good news for Riot. There's going to be plenty of levers in here for them to adjust. God. They love their levers. They added so many levers to this guy.
These are levers. These
are
buttons,
they're salivating over which lever to pull.
Pulleys. Everything. Let's go move on, and we're going to talk about Karma next because we had spoke to Karma last week, and we had made some discussion. We had a person write in, and we had a person post on our subreddit.
Well, what Chiro was talking about, how he wanted to talk more Karma because he had so much fun the last time. He really wanted to touch on the jungle Karma because he got to try that over the weekend, and now he wants to share his thoughts.
For those of you who don't know what's going on, as soon as the podcast last time ended, I was just like, there are fewer things I could be less interested in than jungle Karma. Not interested in it at all. And everybody just had to keep on talking about it.
And it's at the same time, you were like, how do you guys take a simple change and make a 15-minute conversation out of it?
They changed her from what she was before to being way better at support. That's all we needed to say other than what the changes were.
What's funny is it seems like these Karma changes had Adam inspired, but they're giving Kira defiance.
Great. Now we're going to talk about how I'm inspired to kick you off the show now.
I guess that's karma. Sorry.
Yeah. I saw a couple people. One person emailed me and said support Karma OP-ness. Another person, by the way, I don't know why people love OP-ness so much. Listen, I have a giant. I mean, no, on the T-Force
Under that explicit tag.
How many bad jokes are we gonna do tonight? This is terrible.
That's what we do.
The T-Force Network subreddit, he had posted about it being really good for lane bully Karma too. Like, we were like, it's support. And he's like, no, it's lane and it's mid and top. And I'm going to counter to say, no, Karma's a support now. And I think she's a different support than she previously was. Because
I don't know if I buy it, but go on.
It's because okay, so they shifted a lot of her power. Okay, I have a problem. I can see potential, but I can also see that it's really hard to play her properly as a support because there's so much that goes on in a team fight. I think she's one of those supports where you have to play her with a goal in mind, and that goal is disengage, like protecting disengage. It's never hard engage. It's get everybody out of dodge because.
But that's how you played her before is support.
The difference here, the way I'm looking at this, though, is because W now has that long root on it, or has a really nice root on it, that it's hard for me to decide whether I want to max Q and poke really hard in lane and wait for that cooldown, or keep E up and allow my AD carry to poke, or be safe and poke and do what it means. Because Kog'Maw could be a pretty big lane bully in the right matchups, and you give him a shield and he's chunking people out, for example. So I could place, instead of being Caitlyn Karma, which I still think is a really good lane with max and Q, poke lane, you could probably do a protect the cog with a Karma. I mean, it's what she did before, but she does it better now because E now gives a speed boost. You don't have to mantra it. It gives whoever you put it on a speed boost instantly, which is amazing. It's awesome for positioning lane. It's awesome for moving around the map. And W roots. And if you empower it, it roots her even longer. And it's a super long root. And that's really all I've seen. I mean, besides getting mantras up and having maybe a second mantra in a team fight because I land a Q, there's really not much that has changed with Karma. I put 4 games into her, and in the last couple days. So.
And so the last game we played, was that the first time you didn't fully max Q first?
Yeah, I didn't. I did EW just out of curiosity.
Did you only put 1 point in Q then?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, because in my mind, I'd still want to level Q first, and like you were saying, I mean, you do that majority of the time, but there's heavy incentive to level the W and the E. I'm still thinking Q first just because I want to dominate that lane, and winning that laning phase is extremely important. Mm-hmm. Getting that lead, and Q is very good at doing that. Q is also great at the early skirmishes. Sure. I mean, Mantra Q is still great for those when jungler and you're looking to counter engage, or if you're going to help your jungler, whatever skirmishes that go on in the bot side of the map that happen early. But
Adams, go on.
I mean that real question comes in about when do you level W or E? Which one do you level second?
E.
And that's what you said the last game is you really missed that
the support aspect, yeah.
No, I missed the Q. I missed the Q, having the Q in lane. I really liked having the what the hell? Sorry,
the shield.
I really liked having the shield. I liked having the shield max because that allowed some cool outplays, but it was more or less like a shitty Janna at that point.
The shield is good for engage as well as protecting. When the W you need for peel, I guess you could use the Q for peel as well. Talking about the support role, so you do have a lot of choices. I guess I would choose E over W because you'll need W later on more than early, I think. Whereas you would benefit more off of just the quick oh shit bar shield for your ally.
Adam, how often were you mantraing W compared to E?
In that game?
Yes.
I
know there were a lot of times you wanted to engage with mantra W.
I didn't mantra. I mantra W more than I mantra E that game.
That's probably because that's counting the times you engaged. Yeah. And I assume that if you were level
Later
E
game, right?
over W, then the opposite. I mean, you wouldn't be rushing forward.
That's what I'm saying is like if I'm putting points in the E. I mean, I was also playing really silly, trying to see what I can get away with too, because I'm seeing how long. I mean, that W takes forever to go off. I'll stick to what I said last time. That W still takes a really long time for it to engage.
It's got a longer leash than it looks like it should have, though.
It does, and that's why I say when you play with Karma, her Q becomes pretty much useless once you walk past the mid game, like past level 9, level 11. It's pretty useless. It doesn't really do that much damage. You're not going to want to Mantra Q it anymore. You're going to want to Mantra W, Mantra E. And Mantra W doesn't, I mean, it gives you a 1.5 second root at that point at level 1. It's a 0.5 second root normally, and then it adds 1 to it.
1.25. It adds at max rank.
I know, but I'm saying like, oh yeah, right. If you're Mantra, so you'll have 2 points into it at that point. So you get like you get at least a 1 second root. That's why I said you just got to play differently with Karma on your team. Like, she still pokes really hard. She can still protect. She's still protecting a lot of people, and she's doing it better than she did before. But and the difference between, like, let's say support Karma and mid Karma is just a giant bully, and now she's even more of a bully than she was because she has a shield to reposition herself. But she still doesn't. I don't know. I'm still not seeing it, guys. I mean, you can tell me all these different numbers and these Qs and everything, but I'm not seeing her being played at the top most professional level or being this most amazing champion like everyone tries to make it out to me.
Adam's like, I look at support Karma and I see potential. Her Q has potential. Her W has potential. And meanwhile, his nose is growing.
What?
You ever saw that commercial? Pinocchio?
No.
Lying?
Maybe.
Oh my god.
In the meeting? Oh, you guys, come on.
I don't watch
I'm
TV.
sorry.
I'm hoping some listeners got that one.
I don't watch TV.
Just trying to see where you're going with that. Like, what is that high pitch? Does Adam sound like that?
That's
I know. That's what I was
Pinocchio.
trying to figure out too.
I mean, as we were talking about W and E, I'm kind of hit with this revelation, which should have been obvious. I think she now has the option to play two different ways, depending on her team comp. She has the option now to max W second and just put 1 point E and use it to help your engager run forward and engage. And then you can help with the engage with the max root. Or if you're playing that Peel protect the ADC, you can just max E second. You've got options now. Everybody loves options, right? I love options.
I liked it before when she was kind of like that one trick pony where she was queuing a lot and then she was Mantra E-ing. Like,
But she can still queue a lot.
I know she can still do everything. That's what I said. I said she's not bad.
Like,
I'm just not seeing the
no
OP.
way to get worse from
I'm
these
not
changes.
seeing the OP power that people are screaming at me to do, or that are like, you know, I don't know. Maybe it's just because I don't want to like Karma. Maybe I'm jaded. Maybe you all can yell at me all you want and tell you how wrong I am. I'm not seeing it, guys. It's her. She's gated by cooldowns and she doesn't do enough with the cooldowns she has.
Why don't you just build a Magi's?
You're real excited to play her, though.
I like to play. I like Karma. I've always liked actual Karma. But fuck it. We need to talk about masteries. And since we're talking support, we're talking masteries. Another thing that Chira gives no two about.
It's not true. I care about support masteries because I use them on Udyr in some games. So let's get to it.
Yes. Then go. You know, it's somebody else because I'm salty about this Karma shit. And I have no reason to be.
All right, meditation. This is the one that affected me the most because I have it in a lot of my rune pages. That's the utility one, the first tier. You put 3 points. You used to get mana regen out of it. Now it just gives you flat mana. Restores. I'm sorry. Yeah. Meditation with swap positions with expanded mind. Mm-hmm. Got to spend it to get it. Restores 0.5, 1.5 missing mana every 5 seconds. Doesn't exist on the first tier. Now it's expanded mind that's sitting there, which gives you 25, 50, 75 mana. Mm-hmm. So you just get a little bit of flat mana early. And then later on, you got to devote more points to get meditation, where you get your mana.
Which I like. So I started playing with the. Okay, here. This is why I don't like it because it's 3 points for a lot of nothing. But I like it because there's nothing else up there that you want to put your damn points into. Nothing else. There's nothing else in that tier.
It gives you a no-brainer. Just get the movement speed and leave it alone.
Oh yeah, I mean, I suppose that makes sense. I mean,
Scout not that great. Phase Walker. I mean, Phase Walker's pretty good. You can tell me you're going to get rid of some of that for Phase Walker. But at the same time, Expanded Mind is one more spell in lane, or just a spell and a half, or it could be potentially 2 spells depending on the champion with 15 extra mana, because a lot of spells are base of 60, or
a little bit of AP if you rise, or craziness.
The return on investment sucks. But it's good enough to put the points into because one more spell could be the difference between winning or losing a trade, winning or losing bottom lane.
And you need it as a prereq to get the cool stuff. So, you need those points, 3 points.
I mean, there's no doubt that meditation is better for mages now. Or I'm not sure how often supports are really mana hungry, but I mean, they could get that too if they want. Lulu, let's talk about Lulu mana regen again, right, Chira? Let's start talking about that. I mean,
Seriously.
the percentage mana regen, you know, great for spellcasters. But I use that flat mana regen a lot in my marksman masteries, and now I just don't anymore. I'm not gonna put points in flat mana. Like I'm looking for sustain. And that's what I was looking for when I got the mana regen. So now I just got to put the points into health and the defensive tree, which you know most marksmen are doing anyways. But
Yeah, I think
I miss it. I miss my mana. I want more mana.
It just makes Ezreal worse than he was before, essentially.
Well,
Yeah, because he's
he was building tier first anyway. I don't think he cares that much.
I know, but he was bad because he had to build tier
Caitlyn
first.
cares. Caitlyn's very sad
because he has to
does
get
Caitlyn
tier.
care?
because she spends a lot of mana.
Because her
and she
mana
doesn't
costs
take a lot
are
of harass with her
ridiculous.
range.
I know they are, but anyway.
She doesn't need she didn't need all the health and defensive tree. She could take some of that mana regen instead.
Fair
Just
enough.
poke more.
All right. Let's just take a moment to talk about the fact that Adam brings up one champion about mana, Punch brings up a different one, but at the end of the day, they're discussing Punch's role of AD carry and who's more mana hungry for the role.
Let's talk about my role, guys.
Oh, yeah.
Marksman got hit hard by this change.
For the support mastery change.
All right, let's keep going so we can talk the rest and then talk about them all together.
Inspirational buffs. While near an allied champion with higher level used to grant 5-10 experience every 10 seconds. Now it's 10-20 experience every 10 seconds. So
Hey,
they
it's a
doubled
Bard mastery. They just want to make Bard played.
it. Yeah. More XP while near an allied champion with a
I
higher
want to
level.
get in this.
No, I wouldn't put any points in this.
I still doesn't seem very appealing to me. It still seems like a very small amount of experience every 10 seconds.
Yeah, I guess. I haven't tried it, but
Maybe
I've
the
done
gold
math.
value is significantly large.
I, I'm looking at my support masteries right now, and granted, they're not that great because I'm not a support player, but I still don't have the points in that because I still want to put. I had to sacrifice 1 point somewhere. I had to sacrifice 2 points because I couldn't do Strength of Spirit, and I couldn't put my last point into Intelligence if I wanted all the meditation points. Or I didn't put all my points in Meditation, and I got Intelligence instead. I don't get everything I want now, damn it. That's my problem. Anyway, continue. Bandit.
Bandit. We should call it pickpocket, they said. It used to assist 15 bonus gold on champion kills and assists. Now you get 8 gold each time an enemy champion is attacked. So this really encourages your partner to, and you, is it you too? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Does it help for you? Like it says when an enemy champion is attacked, if you attack for melee.
Yes.
So you're Braum or Leona or whatever, you're melee and you go smacking them.
You're Karma.
Tarek?
You smack him.
No, not Karma.
Why?
No, she's not melee.
You get 3 gold each time you enemy champion is attacked. Instead of 8.
That wasn't we're talking about the changes, damn it. that was always there. The changes in the melee bandit part.
Yeah.
So now you get it pretty much brought it in line with the ranged.
Somebody brought up Gangplank support. I think it's back. Bankplank.
Jesus Christ.
Bankplank support.
Because he offers
Or just
so
go
much
deep
for that
utility
lane,
in top
right?
lane.
Intelligence reduces the cooldown of activated items from 4-7-10% to 8-14-20%. It's a pretty significant change.
Double. Completely double.
Turns Mikhail's into like, what is it, a 34-second cooldown or 32-second cooldown?
Oh, wow, really?
Talisman's like 42 seconds, maybe a little less than that now. I can't remember. I haven't looked at it.
Well, Talisman's 40 now. They reduced it, remember?
Yeah, so then it's 32%, or 32 seconds.
Then you add 20% of that.
No, it's 32 after the 20%.
Oh, it is? Okay. For Talisman.
For anything that's 40
That's
second
still
cooldown.
a really short cooldown.
Yeah, it is. It's up every fight, pretty much.
Hell, if you're chasing long enough, it's up twice.
Yeah. Wanderer was a 5% movement speed, but now it's just flat 20 movement speed.
I'm glad that clarified. That's from a percentage to a flat amount. Yes. We doing some math now to figure out what that 5% entails?
No.
Used to?
5%
Is
of
it
the person I should have, no.
Is it a nerf to like when Karma's boosted and Lulu?
Yeah, I'm
Their
not sure
speed's
what
boosted.
warranted this change. I was hoping for some context, but they didn't really.
Is it better for
there might have been a post somewhere that I missed, but I don't see it here.
Yeah, I think I missed that post too, because I'm terrible at looking for that stuff. I need to turn my SFX off. I'm sorry, guys. I got distracted by my lead client. There we go. overall, these changes, I think the only change that I'm super excited about is intelligence and the meditations. I'm not even excited about meditation swap. Actually, I don't like the meditation swap, but this is where it sounds like I contradict myself. I said
You did a little bit.
I know. I don't mind expanded mind where it's at, but I don't like where they put meditation. I don't like that they took. I don't like that they took the percentage of mana that you're getting, the meditation, and moved it down so far into the trees. But what they swapped it with doesn't bother me. Does that make sense? Like adding flat mana early doesn't bother me for support.
It's just where they put
It's
the
just
mana
where
regen.
It's just where they put the mana regen that bothers
far.
me, because it's too far down in the tree. Because by the time I get down on that tree, I have to choose between putting points in intelligence. I have to choose between getting phase walker. I have to choose between getting scout. Do I want alchemy? You know, there's a little things in there that could help. I mean, strength of spirit, 1 health regen per 3 seconds for every 300 maximum mana that you have. It's an extra couple health regen that you could use in a lane. But
And then again, if it wasn't down far enough, then a lot of mid lane casters would be going down utility just to pick that up and then put the rest of their points in offense. So they had to. I don't think they wanted it to be too shallow for that reason.
Someone did the math. Someone did the math on the wiki. Here's an example: 330 base movement speed plus 105 from the Moby boots when you're out of combat equals 435. The old way, if you added 5% to that, would give you 456.75 when out of combat. So 435 plus 25 gives you more. Gives you 3.25 more.
Whoa.
So it looks like it's giving you more.
I remember what I did. I remember. Yeah, I do remember reading.
Or, I'm sorry, it doesn't give
about-
you more. It gives you slightly less when you have the Mobies, because you get 20 extra.
More early.
So it gives you 455 with the way it is now, Wanderer. The old way with Mobies, you were getting 456.75. So with the best movement speed boots going on right there, it's worse than before. But you're looking at Swifties, for example, which give you an extra 60 on the 330, 390 total. Add the 5%, that's 409.5. 390 plus 20, it's 410. So you're 0.5 better with Swifties.
This seems like a good increase overall.
Right, it is. It's an increase overall.
What was
Except for that
reading?
maximum case where you've
Except
got
for-
out of
Well,
combat.
no,
The case
it pushes you
with
toward diminishing
Lulu
returns.
Arma doing the speed.
It pushes you
I think
toward
it's less when
diminishing
you're
returns
using-
more quickly than it did previously. That's the problem with it, because there's diminishing returns at I know 490. I can't remember. There's another tier of diminishing returns.
You're talking about percentage increases at that point?
Yes.
Okay.
But this doesn't have percentage increase.
Right. No, but it pushes you toward that
Towards
cap
the-
more quickly to have those diminishing returns on the percent increases that you could receive.
I mean, so long as your base
yeah.
is higher, I
Right.
think that's still
From abilities or...
beneficial.
Right.
Like, I'm not going to deny a higher base movement speed just because I'll approach the cap faster.
Right. I know what you're
Yeah,
saying.
20 base off the bat is awesome without boots or anything. It's pretty nice.
First, this is where we need somebody like Dom in here telling us about how awesome movement speed is, because that guy loves it.
Oh, I love movement speed. I run the Quince. I always get the Scout. I love it.
Overall, the biggest change here, I think the biggest change out of all of it's intelligence. Your activatable items are up more quickly, and it's
Right.
I agree.
really that and the early movement speed increase on Wanderer, I think, forces people to go down into the utility tree more readily than they were before, because I think a lot of them were doing either split or going down in defense quite a bit.
It'll help the melees run in and get that new bandit gold. Zipping in, smacking them, getting the 8 gold, running out.
I don't know.
Maybe.
Is that extra 16
mean-
gold going to be worth your time to go in there and smack anybody? And
Yes.
What's the potential
Gross.
damage that you're taking from that trade that you just ate to get 16 gold?
Hit Eon Braum, run in there, smack him, and then don't have it to save your 80 carry.
I
I'm still
hope
thinking I want the defensive
I
masteries.
hope the greed of going in for that 16 gold is worth the 25% health and harass
They-
that you took
They
getting in
didn't
and
change
out.
greed, though. That's got the same values.
Now, if I'm playing someone like Leona or potentially, probably even Thresh, I'm not going to go down this far down utility. I'm going to still go down defense and make myself an immovable object in a fight.
Yeah, I'm
There's-
thinking the same thing. I mean, a lot of these changes are non-combat stats.
Right, you
And
got to have max.
Those
point
combat supports are still going to want combat stats. So I mean, you can increase the experience gains every 10 seconds all you want. I still want to kill people and not die.
And if I'm killing people, I don't need that experience. That's the problem. Inspiration, they had to change inspiration. I can imagine that inspiration is actually good for like pro level players because there's a lot of times where the supports are level 1 or level 2 while the person on your team is level 4 or 5. So I can imagine they might want to pick up inspiration, especially if they have a lane swap.
Lane swaps, yeah.
So it's a better mastery than it was for that, but for the normal everyday player, you shouldn't be leaving your lane that much to make inspiration worth it.
And that's probably where the gold value for that mastery comes in too. Or like you got that support at high level play that's roaming a lot, and they're at a low level, and then they're gaining this increased experience over time, and that gold value is just increasing. And then on paper, it's like, oh, this mastery is so good. Look at all this free gold he's getting from this mastery. But
you still got to be near an allied champion with a higher level than you. So.
Yeah, so eventually that roaming has to stop, and it does when they start making when they start going for objectives and grouping up.
And to be fair, most of the masteries are geared toward early and mid game rather than late game anyway. Just like runes are geared to help you survive earlier in the game.
Yep.
Yeah. If the LCS this weekend was any indication of how supports are going to play, like I said, I can't remember which game it is, but it was a Thresh who was level 1 to the level 4 AD carry or whatever it was. Because all he did was just roam. Oh, who was it? Shoot. Bunny Fufu had started harassing at the red buff, and he lost. Spoiler. He lost 2 levels because he gave free lane farm to his AD carry.
But he did reset the red. He did bully the top laner and jungler a little bit and make them miss out.
Right.
Or just pretty funny to watch.
Yeah,
it is fun to watch.
Just a single Thresh doing it, right?
He did a good job. I liked it. It was a good sacrifice.
And then I went to the Breeze afterwards, or the Raptors, the chicken.
Yeah.
He just arrested them there too. I'm like, go away, Thresh. We're trying to take the jungle here.
I'm pretty sure he roamed either mid and went right bot from there. Like he was level 1 forever.
He almost stole red too.
Yeah, with the hook.
Yep.
Yeah,
it was funny.
It was a hook smite.
If he did, oof, that would have been awesome.
Anyway, spoiler word. So yeah, that's where inspiration comes into play. If you guys are wondering why that's there and why that got changed, I'm sure it's got to be a professional level buff.
You still got to be near those jams. Yeah. Well, once you get back to lane, you can start catching up a little bit.
I mean, Wonder helps with that too, because you were talking about how that gives you more movement speed early. And that's exactly what Thrush is doing. He was roaming around the map at level 1.
Yep.
Let's talk about super minions here. We're going to move on to some of the patch 5.10 stuff we didn't talk about previously. Super minions now have, is that -30 magic resist, if I'm reading that correctly?
I was wondering about that myself. The change says magic resist 40. It crosses out 40. It didn't have a negative. Then it says -30.
It's because they used to give their aura to themselves, and they removed the ability for them to give them aura to themselves.
Gotcha.
So is it 10 magic resist now? Or?
Super minions just don't have the aura. They don't get the aura because super minions right now give an aura to nearby lane minions that it makes them tankier, and the super minion used to get that as well.
So they just have their base 10 now.
Right.
Okay.
They don't have 40, they have 10. That's what the change is, if you were wondering, which makes them easier to kill. I tell you, but we still have Frank the tank on the cannon minion and the side wave pushing.
Yeah, they still got nothing.
Frank the tank doing the good work.
Humorously, I've actually been building Locket more recently than I have been building Banner.
The best part is when LCS this weekend, when somebody built Banner of Command, and somebody's like, "Somebody quick, tell Bow Bow and Horse Doctor."
Yeah,
Banner of Command.
Monster leashing has been changed in this patch as well, and that's the leash range went from 750 to 700. Well, poor Bunny Fufu here, not been able to get that reset.
Oh, he did. Eventually.
Actually, I guess he would get the reset more
Sooner.
quickly. Yeah, he would have gotten it sooner than he would. But the maximum resets have been increased from 5 to 6. This goes for... does this go for Dragon as well?
Anything. Any monster.
So you can't pull Dragon as far out of his pit as you could? Or Dragon can't hit you for as far as ways he could. The leash range. So that means he can't be pulled as far out of the pit, right?
Yeah, because Dragon would fly out and just start roaming the river pretty much before this. I'm curious to see if he is more like the old Dragon, where he doesn't really come out that far.
So yeah, so did you cover this first part then, When a monster loses aggro due to range, its leash counter increases by 1. The same as if a monster had targeted a different champion. If the monster reacquires a ranged target after being hit, it will also increase the leash counter by 1.
Oh.
This basically means that range attackers can now only solo reset a monster 3 times, down from 6.
That's quite a change, especially if it. I'm assuming monster. I'm assuming dragon in that is a monster, but that also changes the difference between fighting over buffs as well.
Juggling.
Well, it's not just fighting over buffs. It's also kind of a deterrent to anybody who wants to play any of the ranged champions out of the jungle that you'll see every once in a while when people are goofing around, and you sit at that point where you're basically hitting something, waiting for it to get to you, backing off until it can run back a little bit, and then re-engaging so you can basically kite it in that spot. Now you can only do that 3 times instead of
Before
basically
hard resets.
Yeah, instead of basically doing that until it's dead, which is something that used to be common if people kind of knew what they were doing. So, like I said,
jungle.
this is that's exactly it. Like this is just going to be a deterrent from doing that sort of ranged jungle kite.
But this doesn't change trading aggro on it, right?
No, it's solo reset.
No. It's resetting something because it swaps aggro isn't the same as resetting something because it actually resets and it's because there's nothing in range for it to run to. Like if you're hitting blue buff and somebody from the other team is like sitting there and the monster like blue buff starts running over to that person and they're in range to get autoed, that doesn't count as one of the resets. It's going to be as soon as the monster starts running back to its spawn location.
Gotcha. Yeah, I see what you're saying. So what you're saying is for most people this doesn't matter, but for the higher level players, this is a change to what can be jungled.
For people who are cheesing jungle leashing with ranged champions, this is going to hurt them. or if you're one of those people that like barely has enough health to kill a buff, and you're hitting it and you back off, and then you hit it again, and then you back off, and you're like kind of half kiting so it doesn't hit you a million times, even though. If you're just going to do that, you're probably better off at just trying to kill it because it's still hitting you every time you get in range to attack it if you're melee, which I've loved seeing people do, especially if they die. Yeah, you can't do that more than 3 times now.
Let's just talk quickly. I want to quickly touch on the ancient coin line.
Quickly.
And that's what we said. It's probably not worth picking up the ancient coin, and I still stand true and hard and fast to that Talisman is freaking amazing, and I swap to it a lot. Actually, every time I've played Karma, I've swapped to it at some point. I still don't think it's worth picking up in lane, even after playing with it, because either being aggressive through the extra damage that Spell Thief's providing you, or the extra life you're providing your AD carry and gold that you are receiving outweighs the benefits.
But if you're in an unfavorable matchup where you're just pinned against your turret, you can't really do anything.
Okay, but at what point are you going to be
where it helps you way more?
Matchup? When are you going? When do you recognize that you're actually in a fair matchup?
So that also depends on who you are.
Punch can talk to this. I
mean, if you're a melee champion and you're pushed back, you probably would still want
Targon's.
I can never remember the name of it. Shield thing. It's
already relic
shield that melee supports buy from me to heal me. That's what I call it.
It's relic
shield. The heal thingy. I mean, I think you still want to get that just
relic
for
shield's
the
the first
that
one.
it provides.
Yeah, it's relic shield.
Yeah,
but for ranged,
I guess if you're stuck in the middle and they're freezing the lane and it's frustrating because you're losing, whatever the case may be, you can't really risk going in.
You don't know that's going to happen until you actually make it to lane.
Right, exactly. Would you switch to it? If it's that point, because then your relic shield's kind of pointless, or
no, because
hold on to it and hope they push it to the turret so you can get some free hits.
Because the gold investment that they're the gold you have to invest to sell and buy the item isn't worth it because you're setting yourself back. Yeah, you're putting yourself farther back just to try to make up. You're trying to make up distance that you can't make up because you're losing distance by selling.
Because you can't swap it, right? Okay.
Yeah, if it was like an insta swap or like
if it was a free
swap,
a trinket swap, then yeah, maybe.
Ancient coin though, I mean, it's not a bad item to go in lane with. I just think there's better options, and you should learn to use those options to your advantage rather than try to band-aid poor play.
Will you get more health back though per minion death? with nomads than Targons.
But
If they're pushed to the turret and you're soaking up,
it's only you though. You use Targon. You use Targon's a relic shield to give your 80 carry
to help
back.
your carry.
It's all about me, DeClawd. Come on.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't care if you get 10 health back per minion.
You're right.
What about me?
It is all about you.
Other than that, I did want to touch on that ranked inactivity notifications. If you guys heard me scream about that, I think there was actually somebody on YouTube that posted. They said, "Wait, you decay every week after?" And I went, "I know. I had no idea. I've been playing this game for 4 years and I had no fucking clue." But you actually get notifications. Decay starts after 10 days of inactivity with warnings during the final 3 days. That is Master and Challenger solo. Master and Challenger team. Plat and Diamond. So most of us. Plat and Diamond. Decay starts after 28 days of inactivity with warnings during the final 9 days. Bronze, Silver, and Gold unaffected by rank decay. No warning notifications needed.
It used to warn you, and then once you clicked out the warning, it wouldn't warn you again.
Yeah, it happened to me. It happened to me.
Like, yeah, I'll play sometimes.
Forget about it. You're like, oh crap. Here it warns you every time you log in, like, hey, buddy, do a ranked game. Come on.
That's what I want. I want it to nag me, and I'd be like, fine, I have 1 day left. I'll play one right now and lose.
And then you win. You want to play more.
Yeah.
Or you lose so bad you want to play more.
I haven't played ranked in probably 2 weeks after being pissed off and stopping my rank decay by playing another game. It's just there's too much shit going on with the network. I don't have time to play. Who wants my account? Let's just put no, I'm kidding.
In before Adam gets banned.
Yeah,
just
right.
For saying that.
No. Yeah, that's
He's kidding, folks.
Or is he?
No, I am actually kidding. I like time and money into that damn thing.
I look at your account and I see potential. All right.
I got it that time.
I posted.
I got that one. Ha 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 ha. You're so funny, DeClawd.
Watch that damn video. Thank
Did you link it? Oh, there it is.
You know what other video you guys need to watch? You guys need to join us on Mondays and Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time and follow us on Twitch TV/T-Force Podcast. Because, I mean, there's anywhere from 30 to 50 of you guys normally on Mondays and Wednesdays watching us. And if we have a ton of people on, if we have, like, Ghost Crawl on, it's like 200-300. I'd like to see 100 of you guys watching us every week. But I think there's a lot of you out there that like listening to us, so it's like this weird catch-22 type of thing. Maybe, am I using that right? I don't have any clue.
Sometimes some Rito guys jump in there and you can chat with the right guys.
And you can even, and then like you can join us on Mondays right after the podcast and watch the LCS Rundown if you can't listen to the MP3. I mean, we put enough content out for you because you're a patron, right? You're getting an extra 2 hours a month or 4 hours a month of podcasts. So why can't you sacrifice a few of them for us? Because you're a patron, so it doesn't matter. TrinityWarsNetwork.com/Patreon.
Shameless plug.
That was a good one. Come on.
Well done.
That was the worst plug I've ever heard in my life.
Oops. All right, I'm going to go show you guys the power of Ekko. Guys, enjoy the LCS Rundown. They're coming up next if you guys are waiting around. By the way, one other thing. We have a League of Legends. We have a tournament, a 5v5 tournament going on run by Frown Power. And he needs just a few more people. I know he needs at least 1 platinum. I think he needs 2 more people. So if you want to go sign up for it, go to our subreddit /r/T-Force Network and go find it. It's like on the front page somewhere. Hell, I'll pin it to the top if I can find it. And yeah, go sign up. We only need like 2 more people to play. We probably want some other you guys to sign up too. Also, new Battle Arena sign up sheet coming that uses the Riot API to check your rank. And it will not let you play if you're unranked. so hopefully no more Smurfs.
Technology.
Yeah. You type your name in and it goes, "Sorry, DeClawd, you are Platinum 5. You can't play." I told Langelini to make it pop up and do the Jurassic Park. You didn't say the magic word.
Nedry.
Yeah. The Battle Arena sign-up sheet's coming this week. New website. We are...
See, we got that reference. Damn it.
One other thing. I hope you guys made it here. I have so many announcements. This is why I try to make it to the end. Lastly, hold on. Let me go to my email. It's right here. Alex, send information. Okay, we are looking for somebody who is looking for a front-end developer with experience with CSS3, HTML5, JavaScript, and jQuery, and if knowledge of Sass is a plus. If you would like to add something to your resume, again, unpaid work, to help us push out the TrinityForceNetwork.com, you are going to be jumped in here with an awesome crew with 30 to 35 people inside Slack. You're going to gain more than just experience because you're going to gain people to play with. You're going to gain League of Legends knowledge. You're going to gain experience for your resume. And God knows where
friends.
And God knows where the hell we're gonna go, because we are barreling down the highway at 150 miles per hour with no fucking brakes right now. So yeah,
and I'm okay with that.
Yes, if you know if you know CSS3, HTML5, JavaScript, jQuery, and you know Sass, or you know some of those, and you want to help out with the new website, you want to help style it, please email me, feedback@trinityforcepodcast.com. Guys, that is
Great
it.
technologies to know.
Guys, we'll see you next week. Peace.
See ya.
See ya.